Welcome to the deluxe accommodations of the Red Mill Museum Village. This was as good as it gets back then, folks. This is a log cabin where you could have as many as 8 to 12 people actually living in here at the same time. Everything was done in here, from cooking, heating, sleeping, making clothes. This is basically where your inside shelter, everything took place. Everything was used, nothing was wasted. Even an old gourd was dried out and cut into a spoon for serving. You had a bed, which sometimes you could literally have 3 or 4 people sleeping in it. You might ask, why is it short? That's because back then people didn't believe in sleeping lying down. They thought for health reasons, everyone sat up when they slept. It also created more space. And we had basically the same thing up here where you would see like bunk beds where all the children would sleep. And again, there could be 6 or 8 of them up there at the same time. This was held together by mortar, which was made from the limestone that was crushed. It had to be replaced every season because it would dry out and crack, so to keep the water from coming in. Very difficult living conditions, but again, the best at the time. Question?
What are the shutters on the windows for?
Well, that's really a good point and very observant. There were 2 things that they were used for. First of all, basically, when they slept, it kept the light out. So it was dark, so everybody would sleep, because that's what they did back then. The other thing, which was very practical, as we saw before at the quarry, remember me talking about how they used to use dynamite and blast the rocks? Well, that was so loud and so much vibration that sometimes it shattered the glass windows. And windows were very, very, very expensive and hard to get back then. So by shutting the shutters before the blasting, it helped preserve the windows. You had another question, yes?
What's with the rope on the bed?
Well, that's great. That's actually their mattress. They didn't have mattresses back then, so they used rope. They also had a system, and they used a tool just like this, where they literally put the rope inside and tightened it so that after every night, after everybody's supporting everyone's weight, it sagged. So this would tighten the rope back up. They would put enough blankets on top so it wasn't getting rope burn and very uncomfortable. But that's the only way they had to sleep back then. All right, everybody, come on over. I'm going to show you the spring house. This is the closest thing that they had to a refrigerator back then. It was basically a hole in the ground. The further down that you dug into the ground, the colder that the water got, and that's hence the spring water that would come up. So they would try to make it as deep as they could and manageable, so that when they had ice that they kept for themselves and they packed meat and the weather started getting warmer, they would store it all in here, and it would last a lot longer until they were able to finish processing it and cook it. So it was a very, very important building to have back then. Without it, everything would spoil immediately, and then he'd be in trouble. I want to thank you all so much for coming and joining us on this incredible tour today at the Red Mill Museum Village. I really hope you learned a lot today and you take something back home with you to share with your friends and family. Please visit our website, look at the information to possibly become even a member of our museum. We're totally nonprofit, so we appreciate all donations and people visiting. That's what keeps this place alive for generations to come.
The food tour is pretty good.